You're listening to a Time Machine podcast. Old Movie Time Machine. An adventure through time and or space. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Old Movie Time Machine. You know what we do on this show. We're watching color films made in the old US of A between the years of 1945 and 1965 as windows into the past. And we're going to climb through these windows, and on the other side, in that world, the past, we're going to poke around, we're going to take a look at the world as it was during this pivotal era following the Second World War. And while we do that, we're going to be asking questions. Such as, who are these people? What are their habits? How are they treating each other? What decisions are they making and why? Also, guys, never forget, it's arguably the most important part. What are they wearing and what do their living rooms look like? And then at the end of the show, we're going to ask the final, vital, ultimate question on behalf of all humanity. This movie we just watched. Guys, we're going to keep watching this? We're going to really keep putting this on, press and play, rewinding the tape, watching it again? Or the DVD, if you will, or Blu-ray or streaming or whatever the current medium is in whatever future year you're listening to this. Do we need to keep carrying this on to the next generation? I ask you in a very stern voice. The answer? To be determined. Look, I'm your host through time and or space, Justin Zeppa, joined as ever by my international panel of fabulous, brilliant experts, the most brilliant people I know I've assembled here today. Both of them are here, starting across the table from me. You know her, you love her, you need her. Shrishma Naik is back in the office.
Hey guys,
Hey.
How's it going? I'm going to talk like this for the rest of the show because this is how...
That's how they do it,
That's how they do it.
That's how dames do it.
That's all I could
Just
say.
the
And
facts.
broads.
That's the fact.
Yeah, right.
The dig site for Boom Room.
Yeah, how's it going over there?
Good.
Okay. I know
we got an additional site set up and it's...
We got
coming
another
to-
site?
Right,
We
right.
had to buy another lot?
No, we got it for free.
Oh, we got...
We got a deal.
Did you move some stakes around over?
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. I mean,
Things happen.
who's keeping track of that
Right,
stuff anyway,
exactly.
right? Shrishma, glad you're here. Let's bring on our final contestant / panelist / person I am related to. Her name is Carolyn Naoroz, and she is my sister and yours. Hi, sis.
Hi.
Sorry that your qualification is always that you're my sister. That's not fair. You are so many more things than that.
It's one of the most important roles I've ever played in my life, though.
All right. No lying to the people. They paid good money for this. Some of them. You should also join us on Patreon. And give us your good money.
Since we are missing a few international panelists today,
Indeed.
I do want to let you know that I brought someone else on our end specifically for today's movie who I think will help us a little bit. Might not have a lot to say, but K9 Officer Murphy is here recording with me today. So
we got a canine unit in the house.
K9
okay.
units in the house for today's movie.
Okay. We got sniffers, everybody. 5-0. We got sniffers. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
When you bring them outside?
Just call it K9 unit.
It's 5-0. We got sniffers.
No. Take him outside when we go take a break, Murphy. Then he pees.
That's official, Shrishma, that's official police code.
Okay.
You can quote me on that.
Right.
Sniffers. Yes.
Sniffers. But 5-0 is correct.
5-0 is definitely correct.
Right. I've heard
In
of
certain
5-0.
neighborhoods. Yeah, right. Sure. 5-0, what does that mean, Carolyn, to you?
I mean, okay. Well, right
Never
now
mind,
in this
no.
social context, it's not a good thing to be like, 5-0.
I redact the question. I'm taking it back. I'm retracting the question. Sorry. We can't even scratch the surface of what goes on underneath there. You guys, we're talking about Dragnet today. Oh, wait, the other panelists you will, of course, have been accustomed to at this point are not at the table, as you can hear. Catherine Sherlock, you guys are never going to believe this. It's always something at her office, right? You know what I'm talking about? Today it was the router. And,
right.
you wouldn't think of that on a construction site. We've got a little trailer out on the site, right? You're always there.
I was living
You've got
there
a little
for a
desk.
while.
Yeah, you were, and you didn't need to.
I know,
it's
but
drivable
it was
within your house.
cool.
Isn't that cool? Okay. Private.
She's dedicated.
Right.
The Wi-Fi router over there, total meltdown for whatever reason. I don't know what you're streaming over there, Shrishma. But Catherine,
Would you like to know?
well, I mean, we get the bills. We could check. I'm sure.
No, you don't
Call our
need to
internet service provider.
But let's not check. We don't really want to know.
No. We don't need to know. We don't need to know. But Catherine Sherlock has gone to get us a new router and is standing in line. It's something about, I don't know, the hertz, the gigahertz, whatever. We're not getting the connectivity that Catherine Sherlock demands. You know, she's always on social and everything. So she needs a high bandwidth for all the media and content that she's pumping out into the world, right? So she's doing that. She's very busy right now. Also very busy, Bryndis Reynisdottir, a.k.a. the accountant, a.k.a. the trust buster, a.k.a. the atomic lady. She is actually, because she is the most responsible person at the table, she has actually been called to, you guys are never going to believe this, Washington, D.C. She's being brought before Congress to speak on behalf of our program, Old Movie Time Machine, and the Boom Room, which we're being told is there's some kind of federal obstruction involved with the building. And I tell you, the House and the Senate, neither of them are very happy with us right now. So she has gone there.
But I moved the sticks. Remember?
That might be the issue, actually. Did you send Bryndis to Congress? Is that what happened?
Maybe. I didn't make the connection.
Oh, shit.
I need to look into this.
Do we? Yeah. I think you might have wanted to do that ahead of time, because now we've lost a fifth of our crew to a bunch of depositions and statements and House committee closed door panels and everything. She'll be there. We're going to try to tune in to hear some of her testimony if it's ever broadcast, but till further notice, she is out. It's a real drag. Speaking of drags, you guys, you know,
this movie?
When I go, well played. Guess what I use when I'm out hunting for movies like this? Total drags.
A dragnet?
A dragnet. Thank you. Well, all right. All right.
That fell as flat as this movie.
That is
how this movie is.
Yeah, this is a real dragnet. This one. 1954. Jack Webb presents Jack Webb in Dragnet. Guys, can we talk about one-line reviews here? I'm going to blow your mind. Carolyn Naoroz, what is your one-line review? You never get to go first, but it's a special kind of day because, you know, the kids are gone.
I would like to retitle this movie The Snooze Fest of 1954.
Okay. All right. Kind of transmitting your thoughts on Dragnet 1954. Okay. Very good. Shrishma Naik. What's your one-line review of Dragnet?
Honestly, the best I could come up with is just, white people doing white people shit.
Yeah, very much so. This is kind of the template.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it.
Well, all you can say is we know he's guilty. We just need to prove it.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that your one-line review, Justin?
No. My one-liner is... The story of a detective with a boner for making arrests and harassing suspects and a knack for inventive ashtrays. A lot of interesting ashtray activity in this film. It is the one redeeming aspect of it because all the other boxes don't really get ticked for this one. Yeah, so 1954, this puts us smack in the Eisenhower era, like the real, this is the start of the 50s at this point. If the 40s kind of drag themselves into the early 50s, as we've talked about in the past, as generations and decades are wont to do, if the late 40s and early 50s are the sort of Korean hangover of the World War, then at this point, 54, now we're in pure boom times. Okay. Now it's really happening. And yet at the same time, it's still has a certain aftertaste of the 1940s. The dames talk, right? A lot of dames talk. It's very, roaring 20s, if anything. It's like 25 years out of date, it feels like. But basically all this comes down to is that the story you're about to see is true and the names have been changed to protect the innocent, right? Did you know this was a television show, Shrishma Naik?
Yes, so I did some back reading.
Oh, did you? Okay. You did some research?
I did some research.
You did a light Google and research?
I did do some research.
Teach us.
It was a radio series, and then it was made into a movie. and it's the blueprint for the police procedural show for times to come.
Yes. Okay.
So interesting. I don't know if that's true or not, but would that be a fair assessment?
I think so.
Yes, in American media. Yes.
Okay.
It's just boring.
Okay.
But guys, come on. We're not too far removed from Law and Order.
Right. No, I mean, for it to be like, as someone who enjoys a good like police drama and crime investigation, like I like the genre. And so if this was where it started, I suppose there's some kind of, okay, that's cool. Like I get it. It's really like, it's a shitty movie. Like I would not like, I didn't like the movie. But I was like, first it was really boring. But if that has evolved into some of the shows I enjoy today, then yeah, cool. I guess that's cool. I don't know. What else do you say?
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately, we'll find out at the end of the show, but is that enough to justify this thing's existence in the world at this point? Just because it was the first, doesn't mean it's the best or worth keeping around. So, keep that in the back of your brain box, all right?
Fair question.
Carolyn, did you do any light research for Dragnet, by the way, that you would like to share with us?
I mean... Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I did Google some stuff, but also like this is so related to my actual job that light research on it. I mean, I've spent 2 different graduate degrees researching police and police work. So
now the police work that you actually see Detective Joe Friday and Frank do, I mean, is that kind of covered in like the first 2 weeks of any of these programs that you are a graduate of? I mean, it seems pretty elementary.
Yes. Also, I mean, this is, I will say 1954 predates like Miranda laws. Miranda v. Arizona was like mid 60s.
Wow. Okay. So
just
nobody's
to like
getting their rights read to them.
So just to put into context, there's no like, rights being read to anyone. And if you're like, well, that's not right. It's, well, it wasn't around then.
No rights being read. That sounds like a Miranda wrong. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Correct.
Thank you.
Full of them today, Justin.
We're crackling with this energy, this Dragnet energy.
Dragnet energy. It's all we can do with it.
But I think the good part, it was only like an hour and a half, I guess.
1 hour and 28 minutes. Not that anybody's counting.
Right.
But
so it ended quickly.
Yeah, right. We get a cold open, a very rare in this era cold open of a man being ushered out into a field, and he is blown away by another guy with a shotgun. So there are 3 people, one guy ushering him, the guy who's being ushered, and then the guy who shoots the one being ushered. Very confusing way of putting that. Don't know why I did it. But anyway, he gets...
to make the movie more exciting than it is.
He gets 2 shotgun shells, and then dude reloads the shotgun and then empties it yet again into him to make sure he's extra dead.
Right.
Good and dead.
Good and dead. And then we cut to the infamous Dragnet badge.
Sergeant Joe Friday.
Sergeant Joe Friday, the 714th officer.
When he died, they retired his badge number.
Did they really?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this show was just like...
It was publicity for...
Yeah, it was exactly. Publicity for LAPD and William H. Parker and his whole paramilitary organization of law enforcement and... and talking about like the years after World War II and boom time in America. That's really where policing as we know it kind of changes, because men coming out of the military with that kind of understanding of a public organization were like, yeah, no, I can go do this whole policing thing.
Yeah, you're going to give me a gun and some authority? Let's go do this.
Right. But
let's clean it up.
To Shrishma's point, white people doing white people things.
Yeah, we really do like policing.
We should not be surprised that in the 1990s there were race riots in Los Angeles.
Right.
Yeah. So this is all participant of that. Funny, you never see a minority in this motion
Not
picture. It's a
one.
0
And
on the
there's,
minority
three
watch.
women, and they're all like tools to their ploy.
Right.
One of them is a career woman, and she is quickly written off the program.
I just really want to see you make sergeant. Do you? Do you really? Then stop dressing me in a ball gown, fucker. Sorry, I have some opinions about that.
So we get Jack Webb, who plays Joe Friday, and who also directs this film. We get his voiceover.
He likes himself.
Oh yeah, he's really into himself, and he's really into talking like this. And you better take him seriously. Gosh darn it! So we go to the crime lab where they're looking at the evidence found around the body. So it turns out the body is an ex-convict, and this is speculated to be a gangland killing. So we get Carolyn, this is pretty much what crime labs look like nowadays, right? You've got
Shitty
a human skull sitting on top of a radio.
No.
And a bunch of like apothecary jars back here. Like, what is this ether we're doling out? The one lone light bulb hanging out over their heads.
First of all, the guy who died is an ex-convict.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Miller
Starkey is his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. That's all.
Never forget. Free Miller. Starkey. Okay. Carolyn, how many semesters did you spend studying the human skull? Just
0.
That doesn't even look like a human skull.
I probably spent more time with a human skull when I was in that Shakespeare class in high school.
And what about the purichloric chloride or whatever?
Yeah, no.
How much of that are you drinking a day?
Forensics is not my specialty.
Okay, well then let's get out of the lab here. Okay, so we're going to the hotel. We have to check out one of our popular things. It's called the Hat Index. We need to see where society in the United States is with wearing hats in public right now. And I'll tell you right now, 1954, the Hat Index is high. There's
high.
a lot of hats happening right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. 5 out of 7 are wearing hats right now. And one of these is the wife of one of the suspects, I believe.
Yeah, so criminals don't wear hats.
We will run into her later. You know she's a criminal, and he's a criminal too. Yeah, that's right.
The main guy,
That's
right?
him. This is Max Troy?
Yeah.
Okay. They're hatless and therefore sinners and criminals.
See, the other problem in this movie is they all look the same to me.
Who are these?
The white,
You mean
doing the
doughy,
white,
white
white men?
middle-aged
Yeah,
men?
The gray men in gray suits all look the same to you? I don't understand why that
I was
could
like, wait,
possibly be.
what?
Yeah.
And then I had to pay attention.
Well, all the suspects do look the same. I mean, I guess that's kind of the idea is that well, pick them out of a lineup or whatever. So they're going to kind of look the same. But the cops, though, there's no reason why they should be exactly the same. So, yeah, this is Max Troy. He's suspect number 1. And they sit him down. And we have to do a brief ashtray inventory because there are ashtrays in this hotel room.
There are. And they're always smoking also.
There's a lot of smoking in this film. And this is the first time that we've seen they make Max Troy, the suspect number 1, they make him use his hand as an ashtray. So that does count in our official count of ashtrays in this space. It's not a flat surface. Well, I mean, it is when he flips it over, but it's not resting on anything. And it's a great idea. He requests the ashtray because he's a civilized potential criminal. And Friday's like, you already got one, which is really inventive on his part. It's the most interesting part of Joe Friday, I think, is his
cruelty.
His sort of his eye for an ashtray. We're going to see it later. It comes out later. So Max Troy, he's the one who's talking about dames this and dames that. And, some dames like it and some dames don't like it. And, what do you want from me, you screw? And then a lot of dame talk. And then this just winds up with, now get off of my back and hand me that ashtray, which eventually he does receive. And we get ashtray cam here, the best shot of this film. And it's not even close, really. They were just like, hey, this ashtray's made of glass. We could shoot this man's face through it. Check it out. So he does get to use an ashtray. We then cut to later. I just wanted to point out that they ordered room service and they have eaten it. So no food has been wasted so far. This man's,
that's good.
Frank's actually back here. He's still picking away on a little, I don't know if those are sardines or what, but he's really digging in there. I do believe that there are including his hand and the glass ashtray, at least 2 ashtrays in this space. So basically, they just hammer him about the victim and like the last time that he saw him. And again, the victim's name is Miller Starkey, who could forget, right? And they're just like, Miller Starkey, when did you see him? Yeah. And she's just like, yeah, I saw him around. You're like, well, what day was it? A Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday? And he's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
They also are really grilling just innocent people.
Yeah, they're very abrasive. Like,
well, yeah, I guess that's their way.
That's their shtick.
Wait, so Carolyn, you're saying that they wouldn't take this tack nowadays?
Well,
the whole
one of the
giving them the 3rd degree, right?
No, one of the number one things for, and this is just major social changes in law enforcement, is that now you have to think about your customer service and how nice you are to the public and how much respect you give the public. Like, this
it's not like the public pays your salaries.
Right. So this is a prime reason of why we have to move. We've had to move away from this style of policing, is because they're just going like these poor kitchen
people
staff.
Don't like cops.
Right. The poor kitchen staff is like, why are you talking to me? Like, why are you yelling at me?
So anyway, after they're beating up and well, not beating up, but after interrogating Max Troy, they eventually send him back to his room to hang out. And he's kind of outraged that he has to stay there. But they're like, well, I mean, we invent the laws. It's the 1950s. And it turns out that Joe Friday has a little listening deck in his closet where he can listen in. All the rooms are wired for sound. He can listen in on any pervy nonsense he wants to from the closet of that hotel room, that lucky guy. So then they get an alert that they just found a quote unquote eyeball witness, an eyeball witness. And they say it twice in the span of like 30 seconds, which makes me wonder, were we not using the term eye for eyeball in the 1950s?
Could be.
Eyewitness, eyeball witness. I don't need the ball. Your eye. Eyewitness.
Which research now shows that eyewitness testimony is really like
eyeball
witness.
Well, of course. But is it eyeball or eye?
It started as eyeball.
When does it? I just want to know when it condenses to something more user friendly.
I think it condensed
eyeball.
in 1975.
Who's ever using eyeball? Even optometrists or ophthalmologists.
Avert your eyeballs.
Yeah.
Who is saying that?
I don't know.
Avert your eyes.
In the 1950s.
I've got my eyeball on you.
1975.
That's when eyeball became eye.
Yes.
Okay, lock it in. I don't know. Just curious. Language is a curious thing.
Fair question.
When did they get to a point where they're just like, guys, eyeball? Like, we know it's round. Like, we all know eyes. We're looking at eyes with our eyes. Okay,
it's like when you say any word way too many times, and all of a sudden it just completely like divests the meaning that it had, and you're like, who came up with this? Who came up with language? Who said this was the way to do it?
That's so true.
Yeah.
Because language is just sounds that
you can look at with your eyeballs.
That we process to make sense.
And hear with your earballs. Yeah.
Clearly we have
drums.
Many different forms of language communication, alphabet systems, writing systems.
Smoke gets in your eyeballs, right? It's a fun game, folks at home. Replace common usage of the word eye with eyeball and just see how your life changes.
Long eyeball.
See if that paints a picture of this time and place. Or don't. That's also acceptable. You're fine. Step aside, step aside. That's right, it's me, the commercial voice from time and or space, coming to you to interrupt this incredible program that we're delivering to you right now. I mean, I think we make a promise and we deliver each and every time, but not without this interruption to tell you about the merch store. We have a new design, you guys. This one comes courtesy of brand new patron, let's call him Davey. You know, this is the type of Class A treatment that you get when you join the paywall over on the Patreon. Links in the show notes, you guys. Same with the TeePublic store, which is where you can find Davey's requested design, which is going back to our, I think, episode 5 or 6, Dr. No, in which our own Catherine Sherlock describes the very first James Bond movie as one filled with cheeky winks and easy violence. That's right, and nothing describes our show better either. So it's terribly apt, and we have now placed it on merch for you to buy. And we ask that you do that. And if you do right now, I will thank you. I'm not even going to wait for you to do it. I know your hand is on your wallet right now. Thank you so much. And back to the show. So at this point, we get a lot of hot habeas corpus writ action coming at us fast and furious. They've got the warrants. They're ready. And really, it's just scenes being summarized by the voiceover. Interesting narrative choice here. This is the storytelling, the language of film, right? And they kind of advise young screenwriters to just keep the voiceover out of it for as long as you possibly can. I know you want to do it. I know we all saw Trainspotting and we loved it, but you are not Irvine Welsh or Danny Boyle or Ewan McGregor. So just keep the voiceover out of it and just write the people doing the thing that they're actually talking about. In this film...
Show, don't tell.
Exactly. And they have ignored that here, and they're just telling... Actually, it's a little combination. They're telling and they're showing you exactly what you're seeing as well. So we get full conversations between people where not a word of their conversation is heard, but we're told what the contents of conversation were. I guess it makes it more policey to do it this way, you guys. I guess we're really Dragnet. So we then meet Grace Downing. Also, just want to point out on Friday's desk, he does have an ashtray right here. But Grace Downing is going to be, they need somebody who can go undercover at the Red Spot, they decide. So who are we going to get? We're going to get one of these tart lady cops over here, and we're going to put her undercover. Now, they don't put it that way, and they actually treat her with a little bit of respect. Yes, and she, to her credit, Grace Downing takes all of this in good humor as they send her undercover. And when they do so, they strip her of all and any indications that she is an officer of the law. To which I'm thinking, and this is like an elaborate procedure of and then, take your badge off and then take your gun out and take the bullets out and then take the badge off your hat and then take your jacket off and just take it all off. It just became a bit extreme. I thought at a certain point, just leave it in your desk. You're not coming back here. You're going undercover. Is this was there a reason for this? She had to take it off of her hat. She's going to wear that hat out into society. It's a normal bloody hat. I mean, I guess if ever there's a time, it's 54 as the hat index indicates, but it just, it seems silly to me that they would do that. But maybe they just liked having a bunch of cop stuff that they could, zoom in on later, as we see here.
It's probably really progressive that they were showing quote unquote lady cop stuff.
She's got a badge, and she is Officer 105 or possibly 405.
I think it's
105. So she's pretty early in the. Anyway, we get her badge as well. Anyway, she's going undercover to go set up the bug at the Red Spot, and before she goes to do that, Frank, Joe's sidekick, gives her, as we were discussing, some fashion advice, something you might want to wear at a place like the Red Spot. And it goes on far too long.
5 minutes.
Oh my God.
It's just a lengthy thing. I think we're all supposed to be laughing, because who is Frank to be giving this lady advice on anything, let alone her fashion? And that's the joke. So I hope you guys were rolling on the floor.
Ha, ha, ha.
Thank you. Also wanted to point out that in this office, which appears to be an office/locker room for the police, there are several calendars. I just wanted to look back over her shoulder here. We have a wall calendar. Nobody knows what the date is. This is clearly a full year calendar over here. Brought to you by Hyatt Roller Bearings. Interesting. A ball bearings calendar. Anyway, rule number 1 of police work, Carol, I think you'll agree, is know what day it is, right?
Correct. So how are you
going to take notes,
reports?
Right? Yeah, exactly. My thoughts exactly. And I'm not even a police officer. So then we go to the commanding officer's office where we see double ashtrays on this meeting table. So they're accustomed to really going through the Chesterfields in this room. And he has news of a bug at the Red Spot. They're like, we found the place, we're recording the stuff. And it turns out that maybe undercover officer Grace has been burned. So they got to get her out. They have to extract her from that situation before it's too late. And so she can make sergeant, which we all want to see, of course. So they go to the Red Spot as backup because another team is over there, and they go to extract Grace. Every table in this place has an ashtray, I would like to note. She leads them around the block, just like True Detective in one shot. She leads them around the block to the back where they find a box of shells with 4 missing. 4 shotgun shells missing. She's like, you're never going to believe this. And she is promptly rewarded for her good police work by being removed from the assignment. She has been burned, possibly, but we got to get her out of here. Very well, Grace. Well done. Yeah, a hand for Grace. So then these guys start doing some surveillance, and we get some heavy surveillance smoking in this scene as well. They're just hanging out in this basement apartment with a random Fordham pennant
My alma
tacked to the
mater.
wall. Yeah, Carolyn, did you get a little misty seeing that Fordham pennant up there?
Yeah, actually, David got really excited. He's like, Fordham pennant? And we were all like,
Where do I get one of them? School spirit. It's a real thing. They got a little
School spirit, although that is also a New York institution. It is Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm a little confused.
This surveillance situation looks entirely New York to me. Like when they're looking out the window across the street and everything, it looks very New York.
Right.
They have plenty of pencils, though, with complete erasers so they can make their notes. And this is where we see, let's see. So at this point, we're listening in on one of the suspects, Reinhardt, who reveals that Davids has been killed. And they're a little disappointed in that because he was one of their key people. But more important than that, we see Joe Friday use innovative ways with an ashtray, by which I mean skipping this ashtray next to this coffee cup, throwing it right into the coffee cup to end his cigarette. That's outrageous. That's so on purpose. It's right there. You could totally have used that ashtray. But instead he's like, I'm going to waste a perfectly good cup of coffee as well. Fuck it. I hate police work. Nah, he loves it.
Maybe he didn't want to drink the coffee anymore. He was done with the
I
coffee.
should hope not. Yes. I mean,
Like, fuck
coffee's
this
garbage.
shit.
Basement coffee's garbage in New York, Los Angeles. So he's just keeping it real there. Anyway, with news of David's death, they rush to his wife. She freaks out and tells them about a hidden toolbox that they can find in the back of a closet. And in this toolbox, they find the sawed-off end of a shotgun. Ding, 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 ding. You guys, we might be solving some crimes here. So they find the gun in Echo Park Lake, which is where she said, like, yeah, you can find it there. The deputy DA gives the all clear to start making the arrests and bring everybody in. And Friday just can't wait. He's like, he's got all of his sheets of paper lined up. He's like, yeah, we pretty much know this and we pretty much know that. I mean, it's all but solved, guy. Give me the all clear. And he certainly gets it. So
Do you want to hear about the Fordham pennant before we move on?
I would love to. Yeah, but that's why.
Because I now had to look it
Carolyn,
up.
that's why we're here. Tell me everything you know about it.
Okay, so other people have noted that there was a prominent Fordham pennant that appeared on the wall in this basement scene, but it didn't come into the story. And the screenplay was actually written by Richard L. Breen, Fordham class of 1940. And the movie poster from the release also includes the Fordham pennant. It's a picture of this particular scene. And the Fordham pennant's in it very prominently in the movie poster as well.
Wow. Okay. School spirit to the max then.
So, because I'm like, why else would that be there?
So not unlike Saturday Night Live and their Harvard crimson bred writing staff, old school Warner Brothers, it was just Fordham.
Okay.
Day and night, bringing you these hits, these classics, right?
Oh boy.
So the gang goes over to the All Saints Hospital to go pick up Max Troy. But it turns out Max Troy has died of cancer.
Wait, what? I clearly missed this part.
Yeah, I mean, I want to let it hang there because
He died of cancer.
they go to pick him up. They finally got all their ducks in a row. Justice is about to swing her mighty sword.
Oh, that's what his pills were for in his pocket.
Oh,
Hot gut.
For the hot
Cancer.
gut. Cancer is hot gut. That can't be. Is that right?
Yeah. Could be cancer in this.
Yeah, I mean, but that's he obviously had this ailment.
Consumption.
Consumption is your lungs.
Isn't it cancer? Oh, I thought. Oh, okay.
Was that?
I don't know.
I thought it was some kind of lung disease.
Can I assign you a brief history of cancer?
You can. Cancer is consumption cancer.
Yeah. This is another big twist in this rollicking plot. Turns out they can't send him to face justice. He's already died. And Joe Friday kind of looks sad to have missed him, maybe, missed the arrest. It was going to really make his week. And they walk off into the darkness. And that's the end of
and then there's some thing that they say.
Yeah, then Mark 7 Productions production logo shows up, and it's a man, hammering a stamp into a stone wall.
Consumption is tuberculosis.
Oh, okay. The old TB, right? Gotcha.
Especially pulmonary tuberculosis.
Especially, okay. But how did you feel about this ending, though, guys? Was it a surprise for you? Do you feel like it was poignant? Do you feel like you learned a lesson? You took something away from this? He's already dead.
I think it was very truthful to the criminal justice system.
It moved so slow?
It's anticlimactic and it moved really slow.
Yeah, okay. So slow that a tumor could grow and consume this man until he died.
Correct.
I took away not much because I only paid attention to maybe half of it.
Okay.
And then I did the research for the other part.
Well, and that research was very appreciated. There's not a whole lot going on here.
Yeah, what's the background?
We don't see anything. We see, okay, so it's the end of the movie. Any final thoughts on this? And then we'll talk about, what? This is the end of the movie? No final thoughts. Okay, I mean, normally the main character, Joe Friday, we would see some insight into him as a man, as a human being, a person. Who is Joe Friday?
But he's not a human being. He's a cop.
Yeah, that's right. That's how he likes it. A cop. And that's it. That's all we understand about him. So really, I'm not saying this is a waste of a trip back in time through the windows of time, but I am saying that, we're getting ashtrays, we're getting hats and everything, but we're not getting a lot of insight into who these people are. I mean, they're treating each other terribly.
And maybe that's just how it was. So maybe it is insightful. I
In
think
the void, just the fact that it's so blank that...
if there's no personality, then what? Then maybe that's why they've evolved that whole genre has evolved so much because you can't do this. So now there's so many flavors of it.
Right.
Well, I'd also say that obviously film, TV, this kind of media has figured out that we like our characters to be more multifaceted, which means it's hard to say that the good guys are the good guys in this because I'm also like, oh my God, this is terrible police work. You're really not good guys. You're harassing people for no good reason. But at the same time, I think the genre works because we delve into the family life of the detectives. We delve into why they are the way they are. Sort of like the psyche of, right, exactly. What's the motivation to even be an officer and then a detective and want to deal with these crimes? And I think that's what our more modern interpretations of things about in and around the criminal justice system are, as they show that the police are just as flawed as the criminals and, morally ambiguous characters, etc.
Well spoken. That sounds like a better movie, what you were just talking about there, than maybe 1954's Dragnet.
But they clearly evolved. They remade it so many times. Have we watched the latest?
Well, they have they done a recent remake of this?
I feel like there was one in 2000.
Okay, that sounds right. I mean, it seems like something they would remake, if only because Hollywood's inherently lazy, so on and so forth. It's a brand. I know the last big thing this was a film in the mid-1980s with Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks, and it was a comedy. I seem to recall watching it as a kid, and it was not very funny. But so it goes. We grew up kind of having this on in the house because our dad used to watch it on Nick at Night, on reruns. There was a really great era in the early 90s where you could watch Dragnet back to back with Get Smart, which is a very good show, actually. Wish we could watch that instead. But here we are, Dragnet. Guys, I'm going to ask you the vital question. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's Shrishma Naik. 1954's Jack Webb's Dragnet. Do we keep watching this?
So I think I have to give the same answer I gave for War of the Worlds.
Okay.
In that it set the scene for the genre, and I really appreciate the genre.
Because of the tropes it establishes.
Right. As a standalone movie, no.
Yeah.
But, for maybe what it kind of set the scene for,
Yeah.
I can appreciate. But
Okay.
outside of that, I couldn't watch it. And
It's unwatchable, but we should definitely keep watching it, is what you're saying.
yeah, and it's in that it has evolved into some great shows today, right?
So because it is formative,
Right.
seminal, if you will,
Right.
then that gives it value and we keep hanging around. Okay, fair enough. Carolyn Naoroz. We keep watching this?
No. But I agree with Shrishma in that I'm a huge appreciator of the police drama genre. And I love a good true crime documentary podcast. I love a good detective oriented, miniseries drama. You name it. Like I'm all about it, right?
Yeah.
Hello. It's great. But this really, really doesn't do anything for me but make me annoyed and also very tired.
And the fact that they had zero facial expression and it was all monotone,
Yeah.
I think really bugged me. Like I was like,
Yeah.
this is a movie?
Zero dimensional film.
Right.
Zero dimensions. It's just, again, no subtext. Except for that line about your mom was a dog or whatever. Your mom barked, which is, I'll give it that one. But it really is, what you see is what you're getting. And again, it feels like television writing. This is easily 2.5 episodes of this show. It's just this one little hour-and-a-half movie. So Carolyn, you were saying...
I think we can mention it in a textbook and never watch it again.
Yeah, I'm kind of inclined to agree with you. Yes, Shrishma, you are correct. The tropes are here. The things we expect nowadays kind of come from here, but do they also not kind of come from the radio version if that was first? So is that really
But it's
first?
the same guy, right? Like he wrote the radio show.
Oh, did he write the radio show too? Oh, okay.
Yes, he did.
Okay, great. I'm just going to say that I think, I've said this before, I'll definitely say it again. I think maybe there's a better version of this movie waiting for us in the mid-1950s. I could totally be wrong. I will gladly bring it back into the fold because, yes, the tropes, and also just a sense of what life was like pre-Miranda rights. Yeah. So I'm going to say it's a no from me for right now. Maybe we'll keep an eye on it, though. We'll see. There's got to be better crime stuff out there, I would think.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
You guys, we've had a heck of a time with Dragnet today.
Ooh.
We
So sorry about
dragged it.
Didn't we, though? But let's talk about next time on Old Movie Time Machine. You guys, we've been working so hard. We went through a premiere week. We've gone through at least 2 or 3 regular weeks. It's time that we take a vacation. We're going on summer vacation, you guys. Next week starts summer vacation. We're going to be watching 1954's, same year. Interesting. Let's see if we can find any parallels or something better at least. We're going to start with 1954's The Long, Long Trailer, starring Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball. This movie is about Nikki and Tracy, who are going to be married. Or Nikki and Tacy, it says. Nikki and Tacy. Is that a real name, I wonder? We're going to find out next week, you guys.
I guess we'll
Sorry,
see.
not to get hung up on this. Nikki and Tacy are going to be married. Nikki wants to save up money for a house, but Tacy dreams of starting off with their own home on wheels. A trailer. A long, long trailer. We're going on a road trip, you guys. Kicking off summer vacation 2022. We will see you next week. Right here on Old Movie Time Machine. Hey, international panel of guests. Shrishma Naik, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
You're the best in the biz.
I've been had fun today, kind of surprisingly.
Really? We were kind of down on Dragnet to start.
Dragnet.
It's
but
Dragnet.
It can be,
It's a real Dragnet.
We make fun. We make the most of it.
I feel like we did what we could with this bunch of bones right here. Carolyn Naoroz, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise on all things Dragnet. You are fan club number 1. Member number 1. That's you.
Of Dragnet?
Of Dragnet. And yes.
Ooh.
And the whole team. Just look at them. Look at this savvy team. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Bye, Joe Friday.
Yeah, Friday. See you later. And so concludes yet another successful episode of Old Movie Time Machine. That's right. We had a great time there. I'm sure you can agree. And if you do agree, which again, I'm sure of, please be aware that there is actually double the content available to you on our Patreon. It's called The Boom Room. The link is in the show notes. It's real easy to find. Just go the thing that you're listening to. Just look at the words attached to it. That's how you do it. But you can go there and you can get the full uncut conversation that we had about this crazy film, Dragnet. I know you want each and every scintillating detail of that because this shit is crazy. And we call it out for its craziness. So please join us over there. Get the whole picture. Get all the juicy details. The stuff that's too hot. It's too hot for the free feed. They don't deserve it. You deserve it. It's $2 a month. You get uncut episodes, more than double the content that you get on the free feed. It's all for you, baby. We treat you real sweet over there. If you doubt it, please write us in at partyline@oldmovietimemachine.com. We want to hear what you have to say about Dragnet. You love law, you hate order, yeah, whatever your opinion is. We would love to hear it. Tell us what you think. You know, we're available, apparently. You can at least write us at that address and probably we'll get a nice mailer demon message back at the very least. At the very least. At the very most, my sister comes over to your house and lets you play with her dog. So think about that. And of course, let's talk about next week. We're watching, that's right, it's summer vacation, you guys. We're watching the long trailer from 1954. And this is available for you to watch in glorious standard definition. We could really use an HD transfer, you guys, but we take what we can get. You can rent or buy the long trailer at Amazon, Vudu, Apple TV, Microsoft, Redbox, and that's about it. So go check out those sources, or you can buy the DVD, I think that's what I did. So you can check that out. You can, flip on the television at random and see if it just shows up. I mean, likely it will not. It is from 1954, but it's something else. So we'll please pack your shorts, bring your beach umbrella, and a little thermos of coffee or some kind of, noodle brothy soup, whatever you got to do. Enjoy your life and enjoy vacation with us as we take our summer break with the long trailer. We will see you next Wednesday right here on Old Movie Time Machine.